The bathroom door creaked open with a hollow echo, that kind of sound that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. Inside, the fluorescent lights buzzed faintly, throwing pale, sterile reflections across the tiled walls. The air smelled faintly of bleach, sharp and sterile, a smell that somehow made the loneliness of the place worse. Emma stepped inside, clutching her books against her chest. She wasn't looking for trouble. She never was. At 16, all she wanted was to blend in, to survive another day in a school that had already marked her as different. Her red hair tumbled down her shoulders, fiery but fragile, like a flame caught in the wind. She looked around quickly, praying the restroom was empty. For 2 weeks now, Emma had been the new girl. 2 weeks of sidelong glances, whispered jokes and laughter that stopped the moment she turned her head. The move here hadn't been her choice. Her father, a career soldier, had been stationed away for so long that moving to this town was supposed to be a fresh start, a safer place. But high school wasn't a battlefield with guns. It was one with gossip, cruelty, and the kind of wounds that left invisible scars. Emma set her books down by the sink and took a deep breath. Just a moment of quiet. Just one place where she could breathe without feeling the weight of stairs. But as soon as she reached for the faucet, 2 stall doors swung open with a bang. Her stomach dropped. 2 boys stepped out, tall, broad-shouldered, and grinning with that arrogance that only comes when you think the world belongs to you. They blocked her way like wolves circling prey. "Where you rushing to, new girl?" one of them sneered, stepping closer than he should. His voice was sharp, dripping with mockery. The other laughed, pulling out his phone. The camera light blinked on. "This is gonna be good," he said, already recording. Emma froze. Her heartbeat slammed against her chest like a trapped bird. She wanted to scream, to run, but the words stuck in her throat. The taller boy reached out and flicked a strand of her red hair. "Fiery, I like it," he chuckled. Emma jerked back. "Stop," she whispered, her voice trembling, but her whisper only fueled their laughter. The boy with the phone stepped closer, circling her, already imagining the humiliation he could capture. For him, this was entertainment. For Emma, it was terror. And I want you, dear listener, to pause for just a moment. Imagine being Emma, alone, cornered, heart racing, desperately searching for a way out. It's moments like these that shape us, moments when we discover just how fragile, yet how strong, the human spirit can be. And if stories like this move you, if you believe in the power of courage, love and hope, then I invite you to subscribe to Soul Touch Stories, because here every story is more than words. It's a reminder that none of us are truly alone. Emma's hands shook as she tried to step toward the door, but one boy caught her wrist, twisting it just enough to make her gasp. "Relax," he smirked. "We just want to say hi." His friend laughed louder. "Smile for the camera!" Her heart pounded louder than the buzzing lights above. She had faced whispers before, but this was different. This was danger. What those boys didn't know, what they couldn't possibly know, was that Emma's father had returned from deployment just 3 days earlier, a man hardened by years of service, a soldier who had stood in deserts and jungles, who had faced the worst of humanity and survived. He carried scars invisible to most, but one promise burned in his chest, stronger than all the others. His daughter would never face the monsters of this world alone. That morning, he had insisted on walking her to school. Emma had rolled her eyes, embarrassed like any teenager, but secretly she was relieved. She had missed him. She had missed the sense of safety that only his presence could bring. Now, as he waited in the main office to drop off some forms, something, a father's instinct, sharpened by years of combat and sacrifice, made him pause. He heard muffled laughter down the hall, not laughter filled with joy, but with cruelty. He recognized the tone instantly. He had heard it before, in darker places, when men with power, preyed on the weak. He moved toward the sound. Inside, Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Please, just stop," she whispered again. But the boys only laughed louder. One tugged at her hair, cruel and mocking, while the other raised the phone. Higher, Emma's chest tightened. She wanted her father. She wanted the safety of his arms, the calm in his voice. She had no idea he was already steps away. Then, the bathroom door swung open. The two boys froze. A figure filled the doorway, tall and broad. He wasn't wearing his uniform, but he didn't need to. Authority radiated from him, the kind forged not by words, but by years of standing between danger and the innocent. His eyes locked onto the scene instantly. "Let her go." His voice was calm, steady, but behind it lay a command no one could mistake. The boy holding Emma's wrist dropped it instantly, his bravado evaporating. The one with the phone stammered, fumbling, his hand shaking so badly the device nearly slipped. Emma stumbled back, her chest heaving, tears streaking her cheeks. Relief washed over her trembling frame. Her father stepped forward, every stride deliberate, a storm contained within flesh. "You think this is a game?" His voice was low, dangerous. "You think humiliating a girl makes you strong?" The boys swallowed hard. Their smirks were gone. For the first time, they looked like what they truly were. Children playing with cruelty they didn't understand. The soldier's gaze sharpened. He reached for the phone, snatched it from trembling fingers, and without a second thought, crushed it under his boot. The crunch echoed like a gunshot, final and merciless. Emma gasped softly. She had never seen her father like this, not just as her dad, but as something larger, something immovable. Fear in her heart shifted to pride, but what happened next was unexpected. Her father didn't grab the boys, didn't drag them out by the collars. Instead, he leaned closer, his voice dropping to a whisper that cut sharper than any shout. "You'll remember this moment for the rest of your lives, and when you have daughters of your own, when you see their faces, you'll remember how close you came to destroying someone else's. Walk away, and don't ever come near her again." Tut. Boys, pale and speechless, stumbled toward the door. One tripped over his own feet in his haste. They fled, leaving the bathroom echoing with their retreat. Emma collapsed into her father's arms, sobs breaking free. All the fear, the loneliness, the helplessness of the past 2 weeks poured out. He held her tightly, stronger than stone, yet gentle enough to remind her she was safe. Later that night, Emma lay awake in her room, staring at the ceiling. She replayed the moment again and again. The fear, yes, but also the relief, the love, the unshakable presence of her father. She realized something powerful. Courage doesn't always mean standing alone. Sometimes it means allowing yourself to be protected. Sometimes it means knowing that love can be the strongest shield of all. Her father, sitting quietly in the living room, reflected too. He had fought battles on distant soil, but the battle that mattered most was here, in being, present for his daughter when she needed him most. He wondered how many scars she already carried from the whispers, the loneliness. He vowed to be her anchor, no matter the storm. The next day at school, whispers spread quickly. The boys who once strutted with arrogance now walked with heads bowed. The story had gotten out, not the full details, but enough. Emma walked the halls differently now. She wasn't invisible anymore, she wasn't a shadow. She was seen, she was valued, she was loved. But the story didn't end there. Weeks later, one of the boys, the one with the phone, approached Emma quietly in the cafeteria. He looked pale, nervous, ashamed. His voice shook as he said, "I'm sorry." The words were awkward, stumbling, but they were real. I didn't know what I was doing. I swear." Emma looked at him. For the first time, she didn't feel fear when she saw him. She felt pity. And she realized something. Her father had always told her, hurt people hurt people. Even bullies carry their own brokenness. Her father's intervention hadn't just saved her, it had planted a seed of change. Dear listener, if Emma's journey moved you, if you believe in the power of love, of courage, of standing up for what's right, then I'd love for you to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Soul Touch Stories. Every interaction helps these stories reach someone who might need them most. And remember this, true strength isn't found in power or cruelty. It isn't found in how loud you laugh or how many people you can break. True strength is found in love, in protection, in the courage to step forward when silence would be easier. Sometimes the bravest act is simply being there for the people who need us most.